Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's weather update. Today we have a slight risk of severe weather across much of New England in the yellow. We also have a slight risk of severe weather across portions of the south from Mississippi through Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas in these yellow areas. We have a marginal risk surrounding these areas in the dark green, and then we also have a marginal risk of severe weather across portions of the central and north central plains today. Looking at today's tornado threat, there's a 2% chance of tornadoes touching down within 25 miles of a location across much of New England today. So if you live in these areas, make sure you watch out for an isolated tornado this afternoon and evening. Looking at the damaging wind threat, there's a 15% chance of damaging straight line winds of 58 miles per hour or stronger within 25 miles of a location across the New England area and the south in the yellow areas, and a 5% chance in the brown areas today. So make sure you watch out for isolated to scattered damaging straight line thunderstorm wind gusts if you live in these areas today. And looking at the hail threat is going to be pretty low and isolated, with only a 5% chance of quarter-size hail or larger within 25 miles of a location across the three brown shade areas today. So just be on the lookout for an isolated thunderstorm with some large hail if you live in these areas today. Now, looking at the heat situation, we're actually going to be seeing the heat back off a little bit across the south central United States, with many areas just under heat advisories instead of those excessive heat warnings we've been dealing with for the last few days. We do have some excessive heat warnings across western Alabama, but we're starting to see the heat creep into the east and northeast, with several heat advisories from the Carolinas through New England and a couple of excessive heat warnings across southeastern Virginia today. And then the southwest is also going to be baking, with several portions of Arizona, southern Nevada, and southeast California, and portions of far southern Utah under excessive heat warnings today, and other areas such as the Central Valley of California, portions of south central Utah, and northwestern New Mexico under heat advisories today. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water, staying in the shade, and staying indoors during the hottest parts of the day if possible, if you live in any of these areas today. Looking at the high temperatures for today across the country, we're going to be seeing temperatures not as bad across the south central plains. Today's going to be like 100 to 105, with some isolated locations reaching 106, 107 across these areas today. Across the southwest, we're going to be seeing temperatures like 105 to 110 in Phoenix, down towards like Yuma and areas of southeast California. Area temperatures could be reaching 110 to 115 today. And then the Central Valley is going to be likely reaching 100 to 105 degrees today. And then across the mid-Atlantic, the temperatures are going to start to heat up into the mid to upper 90s up and down the eastern seaboard from Florida all the way through New Jersey. And then the heat indexes in these areas are going to be well over 100. So, according to the GFS model, looking at the North American model, the North American model paints a similar scenario, with most of the south central plains getting between 100 and 105, with the isolated 107 mixed in. The eastern areas of the country are expected to be in the low to mid 90s with some upper 90s across portions of southeastern Virginia. And then the southwest is going to be baking with temperatures 105 to 110 to 115 in the desert areas. And then looking at the European model, this model is actually a little bit less hot across the country, with the south central portions of the country in the mid 90s to 100, with isolated locations going to 100 and 304. But across Texas, the European model still gets temperatures between 100 and 105. The Southwest, about 105 to 115. And then across the East, the low 90s to the mid 90s. So, anyway, the heat is going to continue, and we're going to be seeing a little bit of severe weather today. So, make sure you prepare for that if you live in the shade areas today. Have a wonderful day, my friends.